My name's Dereck, and you're watching Disney Channel. Dun, 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 dun. Nah, I'm just playing, y'all. Welcome to episode 38, aka Week 7 Pickems of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Obviously, there's no need for any more introductions, as I already introduced myself. But before you, I have my predictions for the Week 7 slate of NFL games. So we start off with the Saints and the Denver Broncos game. Now, this game does have some story to it, as Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton makes his return to New Orleans, where he was the previous coach of the New Orleans Saints alongside Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, many others. But who do I have in this game and why? This is the game happening tomorrow night at the time of this recording, and when this is uploaded, the game will probably be hours away. For some reason, Rashid Shaheed's out. Chris Olave's out. I believe he's in concussion protocol, which really screwed my fantasy team, but that's besides the point. Obviously player health and whatnot comes first. But looking at my notes here, I do have the Denver Broncos winning in an upset over the New Orleans Saints. Now, New Orleans, alls I need from y'all, right? Alls I need is for y'all to let Alvin Kamara loose. Let him get like 100 yards, 150, maybe 2-3 touchdowns, and we good. But yeah, I got the Denver Broncos winning the homecoming of Sean Payton. Then we move on to the Battle of Mid versus the Battle of Mid, as the 1-5 Jacksonville Jaguars take on the 1-5 New England Patriots. And no, I didn't forget, this game it's not exciting. And to make things worse, this is a London game. So this is a game they expect us to be up at 9:30, 8:30, depending on what part of the United States or wherever you live at, to be up for it. And to be quite honest, like last year, yeah, I woke up for the Ravens and the Titans game, because obviously, one, that's my squad. Two, Derrick Henry was playing for the Titans, so you want to watch that. But anyways, who do I have winning this game and why? Drake May is starting for the Patriots. In my original notes that I'm looking at, it does say that I have the Jags pinned down to win. You're always supposed to go with your gut, and that's what we're going to do here. So I have the Jags improving to 2-5 on the season over the Patriots. Then we get into some exciting news on the game front, because it's an NFC North showdown, as the Detroit Lions, fresh off their win against, win's kind of generous, isn't it? Their ass whooping of the Dallas Cowboys, versus the undefeated Minnesota Vikings, who I believe now sit at 5-0 and are currently the NFC's 1 seed. Now, if any team could beat the Minnesota Vikings, it would be the Lions. However, I think the Vikings continue this streak and improve to 6-0 on the season. So I do believe, I have it written down here, will the undefeated streak remain? My answer is yes, I do believe the undefeated streak will remain. The Titans and Bills. Now, the Titans, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The only thing they got going for them is their quarterback is a meme machine. Not mean, meme. M-E-M-E. But for the Bills, they were active before the trade deadline, trading the Cleveland Browns for wide receiver Amari Cooper in exchange for a 3rd and a 7th round pick in the draft. So, who do I got in this game and why? I got the Buffalo Bills. You know, Josh Allen's going to be out there throwing it to Amari. That's his wide receiver 1 now. You know, people were arguing in the offseason, oh, Josh Allen's going to be fine without Stephon. No, he wasn't. Like, yeah, he could still make the plays. He's a hell of a quarterback, but you need a true wide receiver 1, regardless of who your quarterback is. That's the guy that elevates the quarterback to the next level. The Dolphins over the Colts. Now, I had originally penned the Colts to win this game because I thought former Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco, and let me give him some credit elsewhere, he has played for other teams, so former Ravens, Jets, Broncos, Browns, current Colts backup quarterback Joe Flacco was going to start for this team. However, he is not, and Anthony Richardson is in line to start. But because of the state that the Miami Dolphins are currently in, I do have the Colts still winning this game. Give me just a second, y'all. The Seahawks and the Falcons, so we got some NFC ball going on. Here's the thing with that. I did not predict the Seahawks to finish first in their division. If memory serves me correct, I picked them to finish last. And my friend, my dear friend, Anne, would remind you of that. I did apologize to her already. I was like, I should have been familiar with Mike McDonald's game. But yeah, not going to be happy with me this week because I do have the Atlanta Falcons and Kirko Chains beating the Seattle Seahawks. Now, one of the most anticipated games of Week 7 is the CJ Stroud-led versus the Jordan Love-led Houston Texans, Green Bay Packers. This can be a game that's up there for game of the year. It can have that contention. Who do I have winning this game and why? Now, I think this is going to be a shootout. And me, I'm all about offenses. I love an offensive shootout. You know, the Rams-Chiefs game from years ago where they both put up like 50-something points or 40 to 50-something points. The Giants years prior to that, I forget who they played, but they were in a shootout with somebody, and I was like, okay, this is what I like to see because it's entertaining football, right? That said, I have Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, and the reason I say Tank Dell is because he is on one of my fantasy teams. Made a trade for him. I did trade Bowers away for him. Wasn't a mistake. No, I didn't get fleeced. Well, I already had George Kittle. I wasn't going to use Bowers. And if Lamar's going to connect with Mark Andrews for the 1 week that I need him, then we're set. But back to what I was saying, I have the Houston Texans winning this game, but I do think it's going to be a shootout and an entertaining game nonetheless. So going down the list. Battle of the AFC North as we have the Bengals and the Browns. And the headline here is Nick Chubb making his return for the city of Cleveland. I got no beef with Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is a phenomenal running back. He is coming back from an ACL injury, if memory serves me correct. But who do I have winning this game and why? Well, the Browns just lost Amari Cooper. They're getting Nick Chubb back, though. They still have Jerry Jeudy. The Bengals have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. They no longer have a Joe Mixon. He's over in Houston. But at the end of the day, I penned the Browns to win this. Actually, in my original notes, I didn't pin anybody to win this. But give me the Browns, returning Nick Chubb. Hopefully he can get back to form and, get back to that running back that he was before the injury. The Eagles and the Giants in an NFC East matchup. Now, the Giants, give me a second, y'all. Sorry. The Giants sold hard against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals could have an even worse record than they do right now. However, the only aspect of that team that did not sell was the run game, the defense. I can't give Daniel Jones credit. He made some good plays, but he also made some bad ones, and you got to blame the quarterback when they play bad. The kicker, however, I was talking to my friend Mal of 13 Rings podcast. Y'all should check that out. But me and her were talking, and she said that she would have loved to borrow Tucker for just a day because of how awful their kicking situation was in that game. And I hate to be that guy, except no, I don't. The Bengals so far this year are frauds. Anyways, I digress. I have the Eagles winning that game, by the way, against the Giants. The headline there, though, which I forgot to write down, is Saquon Barkley's return to the Giants. And I saw a thing that said, oh, Saquon believes Giants fans aren't going to boo him. Bubba, you're going to get booed. Like, yeah, cool. They paid the wrong guy, but still, you went to a division rival. You think Patrick Queen's just going to waltz into M&T Bank Stadium and we're going to be like, yay, woo, Patrick Queen? No, we're going to be like, boo, boo, boo. And it's not because he went to another team, because far and few, like, get your bag, but you went to a division rival. You made it personal. But I can't wait for that matchup. Dereck Henry versus Patrick Queen. Just get one stiff arm in there. And then we move on to the Raiders and the Rams. The Raiders are now down a wide receiver, but we'll get into that more when I cover the Sunday night game. Their quarterback situation is delusional. Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew. Couldn't even tell you who that third string running back is. And I paid attention to football like religiously. But yeah, I got the Rams winning that one. Hopefully, Cooper Kupp can come back, because in my one fantasy league where I'm like, okay, this is the one me and my boy Isaiah, you've seen him on the channel before, we co-commissioned the league. Trying to win a jersey in that league. Not that I can't go out and buy my own jersey, but it'd be a lot nicer if, it could be on somebody else's tab instead of my own. But yeah, I digress. Hopefully, Cooper Kupp is back, because I can turn my luck around if I get Kupp, if I get Chubb back, go on a little streak, and then, hopefully finish somewhere around like 9-6, and then win that league, maybe, or compete for a playoff spot at least. The Panthers versus the Commanders. Give me the No, I'm kidding. The Commanders are coming off a loss against my Baltimore Ravens in the Battle of the Beltway. Was a phenomenal game. And Washington fans, let me tell you, that kid Jaden Daniels, as a guy who is a diehard LSU football fan, that guy Jaden Daniels is the truth. the whole truth and nothing but the damn truth. So I think y'all keep balling out the way you are. Y'all are taking that division. And I will stand 10 toes down on this. Jaden Daniels is going to be to Washington and going to finish in Washington what Robert Griffin III, aka RG3, started in Washington. Now, it's an injustice what happened to RG3 because of ownership, things like that. But the Commanders got a way better ownership now, you know. They got guys who actually care about that team. They don't have guys who are like, oh, yeah, let's have our bleachers almost falling, you know, injure an opposing team's QB. So, give me the Commanders bouncing back and beating the brakes off the Panthers this week. The Chiefs and the Niners. Now, let me go on a little rant here. What is it with the NFL scheduling games in the 1 or the 4 p.m. spots when they should be the primetime games? You're telling me we're getting the Chiefs and the Niners in a Super Bowl rematch during the regular season, and that is not the primetime game? Then you had the Battle of the Beltway last week. And instead we get the Giants and the Bengals? And that game was not high scoring by any means. But like, you could have put Lamar, Jaden. Do better, NFL. Do better. Now, the 49ers have a lot of players injured. I know they still got Debo. I know they got Ayuk. I know they got Kittle. So they still got weapons around them. CMC's still hurt, but Jordan Mason has come on. And I think he's actually hurt now too, isn't he, now that I'm talking about it? So, yeah, the run game's not going to be there. So if you're going to win this game, you got to pass the damn ball. And listen, we gave it everything we had week 1. And if Likely's toe was in bounds, there is no doubt in my mind that we would have went for 2 with Dereck Henry or Ricard and scored that and won that game. I digress. We didn't. They won. That's their win. As much as I want to pick the 49ers to end the Chiefs' undefeated streak, realistically, what do we have on the Chiefs side? You got Mahomes, who is the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now. There's no denying that. And I say that being a Ravens fan. I know how to put my bias aside sometimes. But their run game is not Isaiah Pacheco. It is Kareem Hunt. He did relatively decent for them last week. Wide receivers are worthy because Rice is hurt. Hollywood's hurt. But Mahomes kind of proved last year, as long as he's got Kelsey and a solid run game, he can win the damn whole thing. So, I faked y'all out, though. I'm picking the 49ers. I am picking the 49ers to end this madness. If they don't, hey, it is what it is. But the last thing any of us want, outside of Kansas City Chiefs fans, which, let's be honest, a lot of you didn't come until Patrick Mahomes, want is a three-peat by Kansas City. But we move on to the Sunday night football game, which should still be a good game. I'll be tuning in because the Green Bay Jets, and why did I call them the Green Bay Jets? You'll see here in just a minute, versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets have been a crap show for the better part of the first 7 weeks of this season. They fired head coach Robert Saleh. They lost to the Bills. Then in between all that, they promoted their DC to interim head coach. And their OC is still Nathaniel Hackett. But Rodgers being Rodgers, he now has his former running mate in Green Bay, Davante Adams, with the New York Jets. The Steelers have a hell of a defense. They have a solid run game. Their line's okay. And they had a phenomenal quarterback, dual threat, in Justin Fields, the younger buck. However, reports are circulating that Russell Wilson is going to be the starter for this game. I've told my boy Issa, who I work with and who I'm friends with, that if they go back to Russell Wilson, they're screwed. Not necessarily, that might have been an over-exaggeration, but you don't go back. That's like if we go years back. Lamar starts balling out, right? Flacco gets injured. That's like us being like, okay, Lamar, appreciate what you did, but we're going to go back to Flacco, who's still banged up. You let the young guy play. It doesn't help that the Steelers OC, and this isn't me just ranting and being like, oh, well, he's a Ravens fan, so he's biased. No, I've had Steelers fans come into where I work and tell me and my guy who's a Steelers fan that I just mentioned, their OC sucks. They brought in the guy who didn't know how to use Bijan Robinson, a beast running back out of the University of Texas, when he was the head coach of the Falcons. That said, as much of a crap show as the Jets have been, I have them winning Davante Adams' debut. Then we move on to the Monday Night Football games. And I got a rant there too. ESPN, whoever, what are we doing here? Why are we doing double headers? Because we got the Ravens and the Bucks playing, and we got the Chargers and the Cardinals playing. Now, obviously, Chargers fans and Cardinals fans are going to tune into that game. I'm going to be watching my game. So, but it shouldn't be we have to choose between two different games, because one of them starts at 7:15 and the other one starts at 8 something. So they're going to overlap. Now, the Ravens and the Bucks. I have been on a record of, I want to say, 4 straight games where I was like, the Ravens win, the Ravens win, the Ravens win, the Ravens win, right? Because, or the Bengals game, I think I picked us. I know the Cowboys game, I picked us to lose. The Bills game, I might have picked us to win, I might have picked us to lose. I know the last game, it was looking like I was going to pick Washington. But what we got to factor in here, Lamar is 20-something and 1 against NFC opponents. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are an NFC opponent. However, they are going to be coming strong and vengeful off of the fact that Hurricane Milton just happened, which sucks that happened, praying and whatnot for everybody who had to deal with that. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. Also, our defense, run defense is phenomenal. Pass defense is what kills us. So I think this is going to be another game where the defense, and I would love for y'all to prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. This is going to be another game where the defense is like, oh, yep, cool. We're going to get dotted up by Baker Mayfield. And that's not to say anything bad about Baker Mayfield. He's a phenomenal quarterback. Actually, same way Tom Brady, once he left the Patriots and went to Tampa, he left the Browns. is now in Tampa, and I have a new admiration for him. I respected him when he was in our division, but couldn't really root for the guy because he was an op. Give me the Ravens winning, but I don't think it's going to be a shootout or anything like that. I think this comes down to a game-winning field goal led by Justin Tucker. The Cardinals and the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh's on one side. The Cardinals have Kyler Murray. The Chargers also have Justin Herbert. That's the whole Ravens West out there. So you would think, excuse me, y'all. You would think I would be going for the Chargers. What? I am going for the Chargers. Nothing against Kyler Murray, but when Call of Duty and new stuff drops, his production also drops. And I believe something just dropped for that. So that's my theory there. That's what's going to cost them their game. And yeah, that has been your Week 7 Pick'em. So let's talk about stuff coming to the channel and whatnot. So, NBA season starts in a couple of days. The NBA season preview episode is still going to go out. Mind you, I do work right now. Give me just a second, y'all. Grabbing my drink. Look at that. Nah, no ASMR. I ain't that type of channel. So, like I was saying, stuff coming to the channel. NBA season starts in a couple of days. We're still going to do an NBA episode. But what we have to take into account is the fact that I work in a sports store. Then I come here, relax a little, do my podcast stuff that I'm trying to make big. This is what I want to be a career in the long run. And I'll never stop aiming for that. I'm not going to give up on this. Some might just think, oh, it's just, a kid with a dream. You're damn right it is. You're damn right it's just a kid with a dream. And I'm going to make that dream a reality. I want to be able to make money off of this. I want to be able to make, sponsors, which we already have too. I never thought in a million years that would happen when I first started this. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing NBA season preview. I'm thinking about toying with the idea of the holiday episodes. Might actually do a holiday episode, like a Halloween episode, dressed as who I'm going as for Halloween. That'd be pretty cool, I think. And then we could cover like historic moments that happened in sports on that day. I would like to remind you all also that we are doing a giveaway once we hit 500 subscribers. Had to make a goal a little higher because, we did 200. I don't want to be like, okay, 300, we're going to do this, 400, 500. We could. I can poll it on the community's page of this, and I could be like, hey, would y'all rather us do giveaways that way? And there would be like small things here and there, and then once like the thing gets bigger and bigger and whatnot. But we are doing a mini helmet giveaway at 500. That is set in stone. So it can either be your NFL team or your favorite college team. But like I said, thank y'all for, following me along on this journey. Appreciate y'all. And we're not going to stop until we get to 500. And even then, once we get there, we're just going to keep going, keep growing, and keep getting better. Much love, and I will see y'all in the next episode.